Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled The Focusing Illusion: Why Everything Feels More Important Than It Is. Here we go. There's a question I come back to more than many others when I sit with leaders who are stuck or stressed or making decisions that don't quite add up. The question is simple: is this as important as it feels right now? Most of the time, the answer is no. The late Daniel Kahneman, one of the most brilliant minds in the history of behavioral economics and decision science, gave us the language for what we already knew in our gut. He called it the focusing illusion, and the way he described it stays with me. He said, "Nothing in life is as important as you think it is while you are thinking about it." Let's say that again. Nothing in life is as important as you think it is while you are thinking about it. That's not cynicism. It's actual quite a bit of clarity. Here's the leadership moment I want to walk you through. I've sat across the table from C-suite executives who were ready to make a major strategic pivot, sometimes restructure an entire team over something that had captured their full attention that week. The energy was real. The urgency felt airtight. The logic seemed to hold. And I would ask gently but directly, how much of this urgency is about the problem itself, and how much is because it is the thing you are looking at right now? The room would get quiet. Not defensive, quiet. Because somewhere underneath the noise, they knew. Here's the common misread. Leaders are taught to be decisive, to move fast, to trust their instincts. And those are real skills. But somewhere along the way, decisiveness got confused with reactivity. Urgency got mistaken for importance. The leader who responds to everything with the same level of intensity is not a strong leader. They're an exhausted one, and their teams feel it. Kahneman's insight is not telling us to be passive. It's telling us to be proportional. There's a profound difference. So here's the reframe. What if urgency is just information, not a command? What if the fact that something is consuming your attention right now tells you it has captured your focus, but not necessarily that it deserves your full attention and full force? The most effective leaders I know have developed a quiet practice. Before they escalate, before they decide, before they react, they pause. They ask whether they are responding to the size of the problem or to the size of their feeling about it. And they're not always the same thing. Some of them call it a 24-hour rule. Some of them call it the third question, meaning they ask themselves 3 times whether something is truly urgent before acting as if it is. However they name it, the habit is the same. Create just enough space between the stimulus and the response to let judgment catch up with instinct. And this matters in every environment a leader operates in. If you happen to be leading in a world with more data, more signals, more tools surfacing more information than any previous generation of leaders has had to process, then the focusing illusion becomes even more dangerous. Because now there are more things competing for your attention, more things that feel urgent, more inputs that can hijack the frame. The tools can surface the noise. They cannot tell you what matters. That is still yours. Here's what I want you to carry forward from this conversation. The next time something is consuming your thinking, consuming your calendar, consuming your emotional energy, pause before you decide how much of yourself to give it. Ask the simple question: how much of this importance is about the problem itself, and how much is because I'm staring directly at it right now? That one question has saved more bad decisions and more unnecessary stress than almost anything else I know. Kahneman gave us a gift, not a permission slip to ignore things, a reminder that our attention, wherever it lands, inflates what it touches. Your job as a leader is not to react to everything at full volume. Your job is to see it clearly. And the first step to seeing clearly is understanding that your current focus is not the same thing as the truth. Lead with judgment, lead with proportion, and when something feels urgent, lead with just a little more patience before you decide what it actually deserves. That, more than almost anything, is what separates the leader who reacts from the one who decides.